Whoa, wait a minute. So you're making claims about your dad or no?
Oh, my dad was fucking all the bitches in our church.
What?
Hell yeah, he was. That's why he got his minister's license revoked. He was having an 8-year affair with a woman who was like a sister to me. Yeah.
All right, guys, it's been a year and a half since my last interview with this talented, beautiful woman. I had to give the people what they've been asking for, and that's a reunion with what I would call the first lady of Panda Chop News. I mean, I interviewed other female guests, but no one has had a presence in a recurring role like you.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Hey. I don't even got to do it. I have been fantastic. Growing, learning, healing, never better.
I know. I've been watching. You've been doing some amazing things. And, you know, there's going to be, I just want to congratulate you first because I've been seeing like you became a distro kid partner. You've been doing big things, you know?
Yes.
There's a lot of hot topics that are time sensitive that I want to cover first, but then I want to talk about your experience in the Philippines.
Okay.
Because I know you went through a lot. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So first and foremost, congratulations to the New York Knicks on winning the NBA championship for the first time in 53 years. You made some comments about the Knicks saying you never felt more dark energy at like from sporting events, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Okay. Well, you know me, I'm a feeler. So I'm always talking about, obviously, I've been in the realm of Hollywood, the music industry. I've seen the darkness that ensues there. I've always known that sports is entertainment. You know what I mean? I've told people the word entertainment is derived from the word entrainment, meaning to train one's brainwaves to a desired frequency. But over the past couple years, I've had a little bit more insight into sports because, you know, obviously it's been there, but I haven't really touched on it. But this was sports in entirety was basically taken. I don't know if like humans made up. I'm sure humans made up playing. You know what I mean? Like they built a ball and you saw, but at some point, a group of people, organizations came together and started to structure geometry around the way humans moved, right? This is going to sound crazy and far out for people who aren't even tapped in here. So James Naismith was the creator of basketball. He was a Freemason. So if you really look at, just to be quick, if you really look at the layout of sports fields, it's a bunch of shapes, right? Shapes are also symbols. We know that symbols have been used for language for for eons, beyond thousands of years, millions, billions of years. You know what I mean? So we have that knowledge. So if we look at it, we can see the symbols and the sigils. If you know anything about, you know, divination, getting into that whole realm too, the sigil magic is a thing. So what happens is when you view the geometry, it does something to the brain. So with the sports, you know what I mean? Then you have the humans playing and there's a lot going on. Then you now have the viewership and now all of that energy and the cheering and the emotion, all of that energy now is harnessed, right? And then you have this portal. So if you look at specifically the basketball court, right? It's crazy. Two phalluses pointing at each other and then there's the portal in the middle. So that's a lot of energy being conducted to one place and a lot of humans pouring their energy into that entertainment venue.
Okay, so
I know it sounds crazy.
Now, a lot of people will see this and they'll be like, oh, she on some bullshit. Like, what the hell? Like, why can't you just allow people in New York to be happy that they finally got a championship and all these people are going to benefit from the money that's coming into the city? Like, why you got to be Debbie Downer and talk about things like this?
Well, I will say one thing. Right now, Puerto Rico is in a water crisis. So while everybody was celebrating the Knicks and while everyone's celebrating the Puerto Rican Day Parade, there are people in Puerto Rico without water. Right now in Cuba, there are people without electricity and water. So that's what I want to say. That's my rebuttal.
But to be fair, haven't you been very critical of Puerto Rican people over the years?
my criticism of Puerto Rican people has to do with the ignorance of the handing over of the Commonwealth Island, not the actual love of the people. My love for the people, for the tribes, for the Boricua, the tribal energy is there. But it might seem like I have hate, but it's really when you're coming in and try to tell people you guys are being bamboozled and lied to and being brainwashed, I'm the enemy. So that's why I've been perceived as the enemy. But I'm actually really a benevolent hero. Perceived as a ruthless villain.
You're not saying like, I mean, do you think it's fair to be critical of the average Puerto Rican person when they had nothing to do with controlling the entire country being handed over to the US?
To take responsibility, I've had to learn to communicate more effectively and less offensively. As, you know, it's just been kind of my thing, like, you know, growing up, kind of being the capper, like people would always make fun of me as a kid. So I had to learn to have a mouth on me. I kind of blended all that in together and didn't learn how to compartmentalize when I'm speaking about different topics. So now in my wisdom and experience, I'm learning how to compartmentalize that and when, okay, this is what I actually mean. And now I want people to understand me and to feel the love that's coming from my heart rather than just creating shock value out here, you know?
Got you. Okay. So you don't hate Puerto Rican people.
Of course
You're
not
racist. None of that. It's just you have a hard time of communicating exactly what you mean at times, and it's taken out of context.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll just make a direct point, and then within that one little phrase, people are like, you hate us, you hate the entire, and I'm like, ay Dios. But, you know, it's been my journey. Lessons have been learned. This is where I'm at.
All right. So overall, how do you feel about the Knicks winning, though? You think it's good? You think it's bad?
I mean, I think there's a good and bad in everything. So even though I do point a lot of that out, people don't really sit down with me and hear about like the other side as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think the camaraderie of New Yorkers coming together is a good thing. I think unity rather than dissension and you know, people fighting is a good thing. Of course, it's positive.
Okay, let's react to the fact though that most of the time people just hear the shots. They don't hear the good side of stuff that you say then, because it's most of the time it's just fuck you. Yeah. That's it. There's nothing else.
Yeah. You know, it is what it is. I had that time in my life, but now's a different time. And if people understand me and know me, that they're gonna know. If you don't know and you're just gonna hear one frequency and you're gonna take offense. But if you expand your consciousness and now you have the ability to hear different frequencies and wavelengths, now you can harness it all together without going schizo.
Okay. Now, during the finals, though, you had some crazy comments being made, okay? Like, everybody, I've said this in the past, and I'll say it again. If you want to be thoroughly entertained, if you want to know where it's really at, it's the threads page for Tina, okay? Because she says the most wild stuff on there.
I'm trying to chill, though, because, like, it's too much fighting for me, and I'm like, I got to relax right now.
You said don't drink in threads?
Yes. Yeah, I've been guilty of that. And I'm like, I had to stop myself. I'm like, no, I had to program my brain. If I'm drinking, do not go on threads.
All right. Well, you used to date Stephon Marbury, right? Around 2024?
Yeah.
Now, you made some crazy comments about him saying that he had Masonic ties and he had a girlfriend in China. He was cheating on her. I don't want to get into some of the allegations that you made, because I mean, aren't you ever worried about getting sued like for like defamation and stuff?
No, because facts, you can't get sued off facts.
Well, I mean, okay, so to quote Denzel, right? Denzel said in Training Day, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Now, there's stuff that you know, but can you prove it to be factual though?
You know, that would be a little tough in court, but I'd be up for the challenge if they want to come for me.
Okay. All right. Well,
let me relax. Let me chill.
After she just said, I'm trying to. Well,
it's balancing act.
You posted this picture of Stephon Marbury behind Jalen Brunson, and you said that he had his fingers up his rectum or something.
Hey, It was a great meme. It was a
Whoa.
great meme. The perspective created that perception, and I'm like, how can I not? I had my 50 Cent moment, you know?
Whoa. But I mean, come on. But you were like these butt boys who hate
I mean,
women, love their butt boy sports.
I will say, okay, let me be more clear. Okay, when you go through all these young men that have been through this is what happens. Like you kind of destroy them for life. Like like you destroy their emotional intelligence. Because that uh when the anus has been penetrated, then now that man, I know it's a little graphic and vulgar. But the man now continues to desire that. So what happens is now this masculine man who is really straight is torn now because he wants this sometimes, and it creates, this it's a traumatic thing that happens to them, and so in turn they end up actually going and they end up being very promiscuous. They cheat on women and they use people, and it begins because that's part of the siphoning of the energy of the ritual of what they do. So now it's just constant needing energy from places and portals. You know what I mean?
Where are you getting this information from, though?
The quantum field.
Okay, and to the average person that doesn't know what that means, how can you best explain that?
Okay, you get people that are psychic and they get waves of information. It's the same thing.
Got you. Okay.
And some of us have learned to trust our intuition, which is heavy discernment. And with the knowledge that we have, like, this is a lot of knowledge on Earth now. Like, let's not be ignorant, people. We have quantum physics. We have all kinds of science. We have aliens that are being about to be introduced to Earth. We're talking about UFOs and UAPs now. Like, we're here. It's like you got to stop like acting like we're in 1996, because we're not.
What happened exactly between you and Stephon that caused? Because it seems like you have like somewhat of a hatred for him, because like you've even said certain things like, I wonder how many Chinese people, he's enslaving to produce these sunglasses or whatever. It's just like, it's kind of wild.
Okay, I mean, the man laid it on thick. He loved bombed me. He love bombed me to like no end. You know what I mean?
Well, how'd you guys meet first?
He hit me up on DM. I will say that it's a crazy connection though, because back in the day, like when we used to live in Scottsdale, Arizona. My family had a faith-based treatment facility for teens, and Stephon Marbury's assistant, his younger cousin, was placed in our program as a teen. We gave him a scholarship, and he was always around Stephon, obviously his cousin, his assistant, and that was the first boy I ever kissed. So I was always at Stephon's assistant's apartment, I was hanging out with them, and then, so it's just like weird how it was all connected, you know what I mean? So even though I wasn't really a basketball fan growing up, like I knew who Stephon was because of that situation. So he hit me up DM or whatever, and
did he know you from there?
No, he didn't. He had no clue. I told him though. I was like, "Yo, I used to know your assistant Dre, whatever, blah blah blah." So everything's connected. If you really look at it, everything is connected. And so we met up and he laid it on thick. He was saying to the point where I even wonder now. I'm like, did he actually was he really like falling in love like that? Like, because he acted like it. You know what I mean? And he lied about his girlfriend in China. The thing is, his girlfriend comes from a wealthy family there, and so it could possibly be that he needs to stay afloat. So he's got to people marry people to maintain business relationships and all of that. So of course.
What was like the last time that you spoke to him? Like when you guys broke up and stuff like that, what was like the final thing that caused that?
It was me ruffling feathers because, when someone's toying with my energy and I can tell that they're all over the place and not, responding properly or whatever, and now they're playing to women, they act differently. You know what I mean? Now your energy is not available to me. Now you connected yourself to my nervous system. Now you're running around everywhere with my energy. So I ruffled some feathers to the point where I scared him.
So he ended it or you ended it?
I did. I broke it off. He would have loved to just have me here and, use me whenever he wanted to and fly me out whenever he wanted to. But I'm like, I don't do that. You know what I mean? And the only reason I even responded to him is because he went to China, right? I'm thinking he's out of the loop here in America. Like he was posting a lot of positive stuff, a lot of stuff like child-friendly stuff like about love and things like that. So he put out this perception and I'm like, it made it seem like, and obviously there is a positive side to everybody in him and he wants to, he does have a good heart to a degree, you know what I mean? But again, when it comes to the using of women, and me as an intuitive woman, knowing that my energy is now out of alignment because you're lying and you're doing all this. So I'm gonna say some words to where I say enough words to be, a man will be really scared.
Can you reveal what you said that scared him?
I mean, I think it's my tone. I'm trying to remember. It was a lot. I clowned his shoe line, his sunglasses line. I talked about his level of celebrity, because celebrities, like, a lot of them are really insecure, so I kind of know where to hit them. You know what I mean? So just a lot of stuff like that where, it's not good on my part. If you were to see me behaving like that, people would be like, oh my God, this bitch is toxic. But I'll just be transparent. In that space, I will come and I will say everything vile and I will hit below the belt, to make you feel it. It's just who I've been. I'm trying to change my ways and trying to react less to people, trying to protect my energy, no longer letting certain men come and just, hey, come and, and that's the thing is too, is I curved basketball players for like 15 years. So the first washed up retired ball player that I dated did me dirty too. So I'm like, and then he was like, oh, he was questioning me. He's like, why do you like me? Because I'm famous. And I'm like, bro, I'm the bitch that curved 50 Cent. Like, I actually like you. I actually liked him. I was actually physically attracted to him,
Well, okay, he had to have had some good qualities about him that interested you. Obviously it wasn't a money thing. He's not like super rich like some of the other players fun. I'm sure that pursued you.
He a lot of fun. A super vibey person, is always playing a good playlist, like smiling, just dancing, like we sang together, we laughed, like a lot of fun. Almost like a little boy, you know what I mean? But like, almost 50-year-old man, you need him to be a man at some point. So I'm like, I can't be falling for like this little boy character anymore.
All right, true or false, right? Okay. Women are just so like intuitive, right? They just know when something's off, right?
Yep.
But Latinas know even more than the average woman.
They say it. I don't know if it's true, but we do be sensing stuff, so.
Okay. Now, true or false, if you could make a woman laugh, you could almost get her to do anything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Laughing. Comedy lets down all the inhibitions and does something to the brain.
So he made you laugh a lot. He made you like lower your guard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And then after you started like exposing him in the media, saying things publicly, did you guys talk at all? Did he react?
We did. He said I lied. And I'm like, what I lie about? I lied about being lied to? I think, I've realized too that people with, I don't want to call him a narcissist entirely, but with narcissistic tendencies, because, we all all of us have a little narcissism in us. Let's just be real. You know what I mean? It's about what we do with it. If we can face ourselves, look in the mirror and choose better and do better, you know what I mean? And have good intent at the end of the day. Damn it, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
I don't know, it's your ADHD again.
I know. His the I was gonna say his narcissism. But it's like, I've known, with the celebrities that I've dated, they're all the same. They're like that. They all have like this narcissistic air about them. You know what I mean? Which people like, has been like the forefront of what people like to see, all this confidence, charm, all this attractive stuff. You know what I mean? You like that. But behind that, like, what is the actual character of this person? You know?
Okay. So how did he respond to the comments that you made during the Knicks?
Oh, that's right. So, I don't know about that. He didn't know about me making any comments about the Knicks. So yeah, okay. No, I think he ended up marrying, I think, his Chinese girlfriend, I think. So I haven't spoken to him since like last April.
Wow. But how did he respond publicly to the certain comments that you made?
Oh yeah, he was hurt. He was definitely hurt. I mean, for me at the time, I'll be honest, it was satisfying to see someone that hurt me be a little hurt. You know what I mean? Hurt people. Not that that's a good thing. Not that I should be reacting and hurting somebody back. But in that moment in time, to see him in a little bit of pain, which kind of lets me know that maybe there was something real to it. You know what I mean? Because he just didn't. It wasn't like he was like I've seen narcissists like be glossed over and not have any kind of pain. You know what I mean?
So it was a little bit of your ego there feeling better because he got hurt.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay. All right.
Just be honest.
Now, you've had a history of being very critical of Jay-Z and Beyonce with strong allegations, right? I just want to know what your thoughts are on the Roots picnic, his afro, and him dissing all those people.
Wait. Jay-Z like telling them they couldn't dance?
No. Remember, like during his freestyle, he dissed so many people, including.
Oh, yeah. He's got to stand up for himself right now and make himself. He's got to cast his spells. He's got to do his little magic, and he's got to do what he's got to do. I don't blame him. You know what I mean?
What did you think of the afro?
Yo, it was so put on. Like whatever Dame Dash said about him, everything Dame Dash said was hilarious. I was sitting there busting up. You know what I mean? Like it's like he's just trying too hard to relate, trying too hard to be black, trying too hard to be one of the people. You know, like bro, you ain't one of the people. You haven't been one of the people since like fucking 1993.
Well, it was really interesting that like I think it was like maybe a month prior to the picnic, he was saying that he doesn't feel or doesn't know if like battling should be a part of the culture anymore.
Oh.
And then he came out and did that freestyle, so a lot of people were confused. But I felt like, and I like Jay's music, but you know, I felt like a lot of people can't be objective fans. So like a lot of the fans that I brought this up to, they were like, he's not dissing, he's not battling, he's checking temperature. And I'm like, bro, you just like picking and choosing like what you want it to be. Like, you know, like, come on. But I saw that you did have a lot of support for Dame Dash. What did you think about him saying, you know, he was embarrassed for Jay, his breath smells like cinnamon doo-doo?
Hilarious. And then in the tone he delivered it in, it wasn't like a straight like dig, like he was coming at him. He was like, I feel bad for the guy, you know? And really, that's just the sentiment. Because if you think about it, this man sold himself so deep into the system that he can't even, it's so hard for him to come back out and even be with his people.
Why don't you go get a record deal with Dame Dash? He got that artist, Nicky Licky, and I think you rap better than Nicky Licky. You could totally do it.
Me? Really? Yo, I would partner with Dame Dash. Yo, I'm out here, Dame. Come holler.
And she just dropped the diss track recently, and it just, oh man, it's
really,
I don't know, it's a little embarrassing, but
oh no.
Dame was doing his cinnamon doo-doo thing too, but it was a little much. But okay, now I know you don't like Jay, right? But can you please be objective about this part? Dame said that Drake can't beat Kendrick, but he can beat Jay-Z. Do you really think that he could beat Jay-Z in a battle?
He said that on purpose. Like using Drake, the lowest, you know what I mean? The biggest industry plant, the one manufactured and fabricated, you know what I mean? On purpose to even lower him even more. I was like, brilliant, Dame, brilliant.
Wait, you don't like Drake?
The kid from Degrassi, the Canadian kid?
Okay, but what about Kendrick though? Are you a Kendrick fan?
No.
No, so
absolutely not.
Who do you like more, Drake or Kendrick?
Neither.
Who won the battle?
Neither. It was fake. Fake beef. It's entertainment. Fabricated. It was a publicist coming together. So we're going to have you guys doing this, put together. And so you put out to the, you know, you need that for entertainment. You need polarity to get people, you know, to get the people going. It's got to be provocative.
But don't you feel like as far as the culture goes, right? Have you ever seen the culture turn on somebody quicker than they did on Drake? Like prior to the beef though, right? People weren't really viewing him like, oh, you white boy. Then all of a sudden when that beef happened, like people really started looking at him like that.
Because truth really resonates. So once it just kind of, it like sparked everything and like put a spotlight, and once the spotlight is put on there and everything is transparent and you're seen in your nakedness, then it's a wrap. So at this point, the general consensus is, except like the few like there's demographics that are lost in other dimensions and compartments and are not like elevated here, but for the most part, the collective knows that the guy's not a real rapper. He doesn't write. You know, he's an industry, like a legit plant.
You don't think that everybody was back on his dick, or not everybody, but a lot of people were back on his dick when he dropped those 3 albums? It seems like people were like, oh, everything's good now.
Like the recent 3 albums?
Yeah.
All I've seen is skip. I've heard people say skip. Drake fell off. I don't know what happened. People are like, it sounds good, but it's not hitting. Like that's the only content I've seen about Drake. I haven't seen any Drake worshipers since.
All right, back to Dame, right? I like Dame, but I feel like every single interview is of him talking about his past issues or current issues with somebody from Rockefeller, whether it's Jay, whether it's Cameron and stuff. And it's just like, I want so much more for Dame, and I think it's kind of sad.
Yeah, maybe he just doesn't know. I get it. Like, because I have been stuck in spaces too. We're just talking about the past, old people who hurt me or whatever, and not have like had very little ability to get out of it. And he could be stuck there. Either one of the two things. He's either stuck or he's making money off it by continuing to talk about it.
Well, you know, I interviewed somebody recently, the Bad Seed, and he brought up a good point. He said that like the one win that Dame has had over Jay is that he got Aaliyah because they fell out over her pretty much, basically, right? Mm-hmm. And in the end, it's like he's really hurt and he's acting out in a way that doesn't seem like he's hurt. You know, it just seems like he's bitter and upset from, I guess, a manly perspective. Mm-hmm. But like at the root of it, that's what it's really about. He does love Jay-Z, but he's just hurt as a person.
Yo, women, I promise you, women are always like the main beef. Stephon said that the beef between him and Jay-Z started over a girl that looked like me. So like, it's women will cause wars. And look at this lifelong war over one woman.
But what's so crazy to me though, right? It's like, okay, you guys are in business together. You guys are friends, we would like to think, right? Because you guys started since Reasonable Doubt and everything. You have money, you have power, you have all these things. Your pick of the litter of women that are throwing themselves at you just to even be next to you. Why go after the one that your man is interested in? Your buddy is interested in? Why? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Value. Yeah, she's in high demand. Men like high value. They like a challenge and they want to be the winner. Men have an insatiable desire for power and control. And it's about that. It's not even necessarily about the woman. It's about all the energy and the conductivity around the woman.
it's just so sad because you look at like how many lives were affected because you guys fell out over that woman pretty much. Because it's the end of Rockefeller. It's like the artists that weren't as big names obviously lost out on a lot of opportunities too, you know, and things were never the same, especially for Game. But like, I guess Jay benefited, you know, in the end. But, all right. So since we were talking about men falling out over women, right? This is a really interesting one. 50's baby mama, Daphne Joy, the male escort, and Diddy in the sex tape, right? Now, we were watching before all of this came out, before the trial and stuff, and we were like, dang, why is 50 always taking shots at Diddy, right? And then we saw the pictures of Diddy with Daphne and stuff, and it's like, it's another example. You've worked with 50 in the past. You know what kind of guy he is and everything like that. You got tons of women. You got a whole lineup, obviously, because Diddy was dating tons of people, right? He had Cassie too, everybody. It's like, why would you choose 50's baby mama? But again, it's like what you're saying, where it's like, it's not even about the woman a lot of times. It's kind of like the pillow talk, the ego boost. It's like, oh, you were with so-and-so. I want to hear I'm better than so-and-so from you.
Well, this is what I speculate now. I speculate that Diddy sent her as a honeypot to 50.
What?
Yes.
So he had her first and he manipulated the situation? That's what you think?
I'm not 100% sure, but I have a little inkling that that's what could have possibly happened. And that's why he's even more mad, because he got bamboozled by the honeypot that Diddy sent. And 50 is a smart guy, but he got bamboozled. Obviously, she's gorgeous, you know what I mean? She played her cards.
Yeah, okay. Now, did you watch the sex tape?
No. Oh, gosh, no.
All right. I watched the 30-second clip on Reddit, right?
Oh my God.
The video is 40 minutes. This is Vlad's description. He said it's 40 minutes, right? Because he interviewed the male escort and everybody. He saw the tape, I think, before everybody did. Because the male escort showed it to him, I believe.
Almost.
Right? He's saying that in the video, it's kind of weird because it's like, there's a red light special situation, you know, it's kind of like a shadow. You see Diddy fixing the camera to show the man more than her, you know, so that's already suspect there. She's,
what did I tell you guys?
Yeah, she's doing a lot of gobble action. And especially why I didn't want to watch it is because there goes to a portion where Diddy starts, you know, pleasuring himself, and all you see is hand because he's not very blessed in that area, is what Vlad said. And that's the reason why he was getting all these guys to sleep with his women, is because he couldn't pleasure them to the level, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, what was that a question you're asking? Or
no, I'm just saying, but that's just like, wow, like,
yeah.
But we've seen now her doing interviews. She did the interview with DJ Academics, and she's like flirting with DJ Academics, saying you're cute and all this stuff like that. She's obviously benefited from the sex tape being released, even though you read her statement, right?
No, I didn't. What did she say?
Oh, she was just like, you know, it wasn't consensual, like the recording, I didn't know about it, and it was kind of like, it was like the victim kind of thing, right? But that's why 50 even came out. He's all like, yes, there are victims out here. There, you know, we think about women empowerment, but remember, there's hoes too. That's what 50 said. But I think her OnlyFans went up like 85%.
Good for her.
After that.
Hey, more power to her.
Yeah. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on the situation?
I mean, she knew. She's just trying to, you know, hide her. She is a whole honeypot. I'm telling you now. This is even deeper than just her being a like a hoe on the surface. She probably is like intel, like maybe CIA too. It's possible.
Wow. I mean, you can't tell me, as much as Diddy liked to record, because we've heard, right, that like he has like so many tapes of so many people, especially Cassie, that if Daphne was really around that much, like there has to be numerous tapes. That can't just be the only tape. So for her to say that she's not, it wasn't consensual, you know, like that's kind of harder to believe in a way.
It is harder. Yeah. And you always got to really, if look at any women who are around the entertainment industry who have no talent, they're operatives, in my opinion. You know, obviously the the prostitution thing is there, but then they also double as operatives.
I don't know. I think some of the guys in the comments right now might disagree with you after watching that video to see she had no talent.
Okay, I take that back. I take that
back. No, but seriously, I think the saddest part is that the kid is the one that suffers the most in this situation, because in the era that we live in now, with like just information being put out there so widely, for that kid to have to go to school and hear from other people.
Think about all of the Hollywood children that are bred out of all of this mayhem and debauchery. Look at all Nick Cannon's stuff. Look at like they breed. It's like they don't care. They don't care about children. Daphne Joy had a kid with 50 Cent so that she could be connected to his money for the rest of her life, because she is tied. Someone put her on game, sent her as an operative. It's like high grossing celebrities are targeted by people in there too. Like it's dog eat dog in that world and realm.
Right. What do you think about Diddy getting his time reduced again?
Ay Dios. Oh my God. I mean, I did say that, like, listen, there's forgiveness for Diddy. I said that years ago, right? But it's about, like, really just he may not confess everything, you know, but at the same time, I do believe in mercy, forgiveness, and grace, you know, because I would want that granted to me at any level, any space.
All right, Tina. So Diddy gets out. He has a big party. Are you going if you get the invite?
Hell the fuck no.
Okay, so not to that level of mercy and grace and forgiveness.
No, I mean, it's okay for him to come out and be with his family and go live life. But one thing I say is, you do not need to be in no spotlight. You do not need to be hosting no parties. You don't need to be around children. You don't need to be doing none of this. You're not even good at music. So just go and you know, retire somewhere.
But don't you think though, like when he does get out, that he's probably going to throw a big party, and a lot of the people that talk shit will probably still show up.
He's going to O.J. Simpson it. Yeah.
That's crazy. The world that we live in. It's like how quickly people forget with social media.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, people will come and, oh, did he? Yeah, you're going to have fans again, and, you know, it is what it is.
What do you make of Jennifer Lopez's comments recently, when she said after her divorce, she canceled her tour, sat there and was like, you need to fucking figure yourself out?
Wait, she said that to herself?
Yeah.
And that's good. Good, JLO. Good reflection. Yes. Figure yourself out. All your marriages, all your, you know what I mean? You're like, do you know how many stories I have heard from people in the music industry on the inside, background singers, musicians, people, everybody. Everybody has had a terrible story about her. She is a terrible human being. So she needs to sit down and start to, maybe she really hates herself. That's just the truth. I think she hates herself, and that's why she treats everybody else poorly. Let me tell you a little story. So back like in, you know, when opera was at its height, you had opera singers. Now, opera was never sung on a mic. So you had a theater with acoustics, and the voice and the sound would travel. a lot of times, and they did this back then, because of aesthetics, they would fabricate a diva, make her, but then a lot of times the real voice, the singer, would be in the pit actually singing. And the image, the diva would be lip syncing to the girl in the pit singing. So the diva has always been known as like, oh, she's the diva. She's rude to everybody. She gets to treat it, blah, 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 blah. That's where that energy comes from. It's really the untalented person that is super insecure, and they have to mask their insecurity by treating everybody else poorly. So that's who JLO is.
You know what's so interesting about what you said is because in her interview with GQ, she actually says, what is going on with you? Forget about everybody else. There's nobody to blame here except yourself in a certain way. Not that people don't behave in a way that's not great, but what are you doing? What do you have going on? That was a turning point for me. That was a couple of years ago. She says she had to like look at herself and look at the patterns and give yourself a little fucking something, a little love. Stop looking for love in other things. Give it to yourself. She said that.
Yeah. Good for her.
So you on point.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting because of what you said, that how many stories that you've heard of her treating people poorly, because I remember hearing Liza Rios, Big Pun's wife, talk about when she went to the music video shoot for the song that Pun had with JLO, right? And she was helping Pun get ready, like get his hair done and everything like that. And JLO came up talking to her crazy, treating her like the help. And she's like, bitch, like, I'll drag you. Like, like, I'm here helping you.
Yeah.
Like, that's my man that's on your song kind of thing,
Yeah.
So that's crazy though. But it's very unfortunate. The people that are most loved because they're quote unquote beautiful seems to be sometimes the most ugly on the inside.
Yes, yes. And this is why I'm like, I hated when people would just like talk about the exterior. I'm like, you got to know who I am on the inside. You know what I mean? And even like anyway, the old stories that are out of date, we don't need to talk about anymore.
Right. All right. So if you had any prediction, do you think that JLo really changes after this and becomes a better person? Or you think she goes into another marriage or what?
Right now, what's happening on the planet, I think everyone is going to become a better person. I think the worst person is even going to become better. So we're all ascending. We're all expanding in consciousness. So we're all elevating. So everyone is elevating. Everyone. And we're about to see a lot more unity than we've ever seen happen on Earth.
Okay, cool. All right. Now, I interviewed Lush One. You know who Lush One is from No Jumper?
Lush One, that sounds familiar. Who's Lush One?
From No Jumper?
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, what?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Right. And he said KRS-One is the worst hip hop legend because
I only say this because Lush One. Remember, I was supposed to do that battle rap.
Right.
That Lush was putting it on.
Oh, I gotta ask him about that.
It was supposed to be on No Jumper, and then the booking agent, something happened last minute. He booked me on Spirit. I said, I told you I'm not flying no Spirit. And like he thought he could bamboozle me by like just last minute trying to put. I'm like, I will not be getting there on Spirit. Nope. I will stay my ass home before I jump on a Spirit airline. Sorry, my bad. Nope. Not to offend anyone who does, but it is what it is.
People are gonna be like, you just called JLo a diva, and then now you.
Listen. It's not, but it's about what I like. It's not. I'm not treating anybody poorly. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want to be on a plane where they're duct taping the wing when I'm about to take off.
Yeah, that's true though. I have heard some pretty bad things about.
Do you know how many TikTok videos I've seen of them duct taping the plane together?
That's crazy. That's wild.
And then the crazy fees, the baggage fees. You got to pay for your water. You got to what? It's crazy.
Right. He said that KRS-One is the worst hip hop legend because he defended Afrika Bambaataa, but also he feels lyrically he is inferior to all the other legends of his era and his music declined. Do you agree with him on that?
Lyrically, no, he is not beneath. No, I don't agree with that statement. I do agree because he did back Afrika Bambaataa. I do agree with that. Like, why is he protecting so hard? you know? So I've questioned on that. On the positive side, I have listened to Master K's lectures, and I appreciate the knowledge that he has given and spit. But at the same time, I don't necessarily believe in protecting pedophiles that haven't confessed and you know, changed their ways.
Right. So I saw you put out a video talking about Bambaataa after he died, and you said that you suspect that he was the first to be paid to destroy hip hop. What made you say that?
Because he was one of the first out there, you know what I mean? And it just seemed like I get an inkling about things when I get data from places. You know what I mean? Even listening to Hassan's story, Hassan Campbell, and other things, like I have the ability to those waves of information come, and then like my clairvoyant abilities, psychic abilities. Everybody's got these abilities, by the way, but it's like we're about to head into Star Trek era, and everyone is like, your consciousness is I'm telling you guys, it's so, I have learned to just read the energy. I've talked about reading energy, you know what I mean? And that's just what I feel.
Okay, so you do believe the allegations and the stories that have come out about Afrika Bambaataa.
Can you feel the conviction and the truth and resonance of Hassan Campbell's voice and story? I can't.
Absolutely. I mean, I definitely believe Hassan. I know people have used the whole bee stinger story as a way to cop out, because they said that, you know, he had came out and then he said he took it back. Basically, there was like allegations that he possibly got paid off to you know, retract his story.
Yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes people got to make a buck too sometimes, and maybe, you know, I don't know about that, but
Right.
yeah.
But the interesting thing is, I saw an interview with Lord Jamar where he said that he remembers Bam saying that, I don't know Bee Stinger. I've never met him and stuff like that.
Really?
But Lord Jamar was there with Bam back in the day. He remembers like seeing Bee Stinger in the studio. So it's like, how could you say like that you don't know this guy? Like,
He
I
actually
remember
said
seeing
that
him
though?
around you.
Hassan
Yeah.
said that?
No, not Hassan. Lord Jamar said
I'm sorry, Lord Jamar. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
he said that on a Vlad TV interview, that he's like, I remember seeing him around you. So it's crazy, you know. But as far as KRS-One goes, I think KRS definitely has done more good for the culture than bad for the culture. I do like that he has preached a more unity kind of message, where he's spoken about. He's gotten flack over this, I believe, from like the FBA and stuff like that, you know, because of the whole, how he said that Latinos were there, Caribbeans, you know, they helped create hip hop together, you know.
Yeah. Filipinos as well, I will add now to the whole pot.
You're saying Filipinos were there in the beginning?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll tell you why. Because when Ralph McDaniels interviewed me, I was telling him about, you know, the correlation between Latin music and hip hop and boogaloo and all of that. And he was like, well, Joe Bataan was taking kids into the studio in Spanish Harlem and having them rap on top of Latin soul. Joe Bataan, when I was in the Philippines, Joe Bataan is half black, half Filipino. So Filipinos are now part of the origins of hip hop because of Joe Bataan.
But that's like one person, right?
I don't care if it's one person. What people don't know what was happening in Spanish Harlem and what Joe Bataan was doing, and even the sound, that is part of the origins of hip hop. And people are gonna fucking hate me for saying this, but I don't even think it started in the Bronx. I think it started in Spanish Harlem. Just the motherfuckers in the Bronx are louder. I'm just saying. Because everyone wants to, oh, I did this, I started this, I did it first. I'm sorry. Nobody can really pinpoint it. I'm sorry. So I will say that I do believe that hip hop first started in Spanish Harlem before the Bronx.
Some people were arguing, saying that, because, you know, I interviewed Illa G. Illa G said that he saw this video on YouTube that spoke about
lemon seeds.
Spoke about hip hop being created in Brooklyn. So I know there is some dispute about some people saying,
oh, okay. I didn't know anyone else was disputing it. I've thought this for years. I just know that I'm going to get mad hate coming and saying this. You know what I mean? Especially people from the Bronx. Oh, the Bronx. I love you, Bronx people, but there was a lot more history going on. You know what I mean? And salsa was heavy up in Spanish Harlem. You know, like that area where I used to live, the music scene was heavy.
You had a post on Threads that said, Bronx people, it's really not necessary to always be disclosing that you are from America's third world country, aka the Bronx. A lot of us are pretty tired of hearing it. And the crazy thing is the topic part, you put in Bronx fatigue. Like,
why you put me on blast here? Okay.
Yo, come on.
I have the men in my life, like the men that I've like actually been with, have been from the Bronx. Okay, that I have loved. So I dealt with them. You know what I mean? It's just there's an energy. I think Cardi B really puts me off. JLO turns me off. You know, just a certain people that come. Oh, I'm from the Bronx, and it's like, okay, like. You just like you lead with that. I'm from the Bronx. I'm from the Bronx. You start like you don't have like who are you as a human being? What is your character? First off, what is your name? Like it doesn't have to be about the Bronx all the time. The Bronx.
Maybe
like,
that's a good describing characteristic though. Like, you know, like you can put a lot together just based off of that one sentence. The thing is,
when someone wants to threaten you, I'm from the Bronx. Okay. Like, okay.
All right, well, this brings up another good point.
I was just chilling in the Madison Avenue project smoking weed, so, you know, that's it.
This brings up another good point because you said people from the Bronx think they can rap just because they're from the Bronx. Some of the worst wannabe talent has emerged from the Bronx.
Cardi B. Yes, Cardi B. She is the face of the Bronx right now. Ice Spice. All of this other trash. You know what I mean? You know, so I'm just saying, just because you're from the Bronx don't mean you can rap. And like I said, it didn't even start there. So history has been rewritten, just like we all were told that Christopher Columbus discovered America. The hip hop did not start in just the Bronx. Okay.
Is that really fair to say, though, because the climate of music today, there's pretty much artists that are terrible from everywhere. So can you really just single out the Bronx?
Absolutely. Yeah, I single out the Bronx because they're loud and they're in my face all the time. So I just was annoyed and then I thread when I'm annoyed.
Got you. Okay. But you actually did diss Cardi B on the song 3, 2, 1.
Yes.
Right. What made you want to do that?
To be honest, it was a feature on another artist's album, and he wanted that material.
He wanted you to diss Cardi B, or he wanted something aggressive?
He wanted me to diss Cardi B.
Well, but he probably already knew that you didn't like her, right? And like you've said stuff in the past already?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he already looked at all my content and everything, so he knew my content is exactly what he wanted on that record.
Okay. And for the people that haven't heard it, what did you say exactly about her on the song?
Like just talking about who she is, you know?
And you wrote it, right?
I didn't write this. He wrote it.
Oh, so he wrote the words to the song.
Yeah, I wrote something and he didn't really like it that much. So I'm like, okay, you write it in your cadence and your flow, which I would never write like this. You know what I mean? I write a little, like I sound more old school. This is like new school, like a little mumble rappy kind of,
right.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, if you want to write it, then we go. So he said, oh, hold on. No, these are my old lyrics. I like my lyrics, but it's okay. It's young people, you know what I mean? Yo, where did these lyrics go? Hold on. What? Look at these bitches you sleep. Hating on me because I spit facts, baby, like Nicki Minaj's tweets. I'm tired of all the deceit. I'm coming for all the elites. The time I say it, I like it like that. The song was started by me. It's stolen by Cardi B. No cap and I got the receipts. I'm still a 10 out of 10 when I make them. The ass is real and stacking this cake at the industry full of these b-boy holders and flowing and faking. We all need to wake up. Yeah, so just basically, I like it like that song. They fake ass, you know? And I'm just saying, that's it. Gotcha. Just normal stuff.
Well, the video part that you shot for that, I thought was super dope. The outfit was crazy fire, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Now, for that situation, you said that you didn't write it because he wanted to have it in a certain way. You were talking earlier about Drake not writing and stuff. So you don't have a problem with someone writing for you though?
Now, I am a writer. That's the thing. I'm a writer and I'm a vocalist. So I have actual musical talent. I play the piano, I play the flute, and I write my own stuff. But I've also done stuff where other people have written it too, if I want a bit of a different sound, you know?
But so you're open to it?
Yeah, I'm open to it. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. On top of it, this was my content. If you listen to it, it sounds like it came from me, you know? Even though I don't really, you know, I do prefer to write my own raps, but he wanted a specific cadence and sound. I said, okay, go ahead. It's all you. And really more of what he wanted was my image, my face, my energy to be used in his album and material. And I respect that. You know what I mean?
All right. So Cardi B seems to be one of the main people that you target. What is it about Cardi B that you dislike so much?
One, she's not a real artist. She not only does not write anything, she sounds terrible. She sounds like she has marbles in her mouth. So if you want to rap, you have to be able to articulate words. And now education, she pronounces the word education, education. That tone when she that's a really poor frequency. There's not much resonance. It's a lot of stuck energy, and that actually will probably do something bad to the human body, you know, than open sound that comes in. You know, so you have sound baths, right, that heal. Well, there's also sound throughout that can do the complete opposite effect of releasing tension and negative energy. So her voice creates more stagnant energy. And she's just a terrible human being, for doing, you know, you can tell she will do anything to continue her fame, which is why she's not like a Kanye West, which is why she's not, you know what I mean? She's not having a hard time like a lot of celebrities.
What do you think it is that people like so much about her? Like, why is she so popular?
She's funny. She lets down the inhibitions. That's the one thing. You use comedy. Comedy does something to the brain and lets down the inhibitions.
Because she was just with the mayor, right? That you posted that video on Threads of them together.
Yeah, they're talking about putting in free daycare in New York City. And she thinks having free daycare for people is a good thing. When we know that what happened in Minnesota with all the daycare scams, you know, is just a way for them to funnel money from the government to other places. So she's you know, she's a pawn that's used for anything. She'll do anything for anything.
So you've been really critical of Bad Bunny in the past. How did you feel when they chose him for the Super Bowl and how so many people were upset about it because football is considered an all-American sport?
It was on purpose to, you know, it was like a psychological operation, especially to harness the energy of the Latinos. And, you know, he's used, to me, that was cultural appropriation to get everybody to tune in and to get everyone's energy collected into one place. So he's not a salsa artist. Of course, they use that. I put out this formula. You know what I mean? He wasn't doing salsa. He came out, he's a Latin trap artist. I came out with Sonríe. On top of it, I like it like that was my idea, this whole thing. So then the industry now knows they can use old sounding music, which is all the rhythms that have been around for thousands of years because it awakens the spirit, right? And then you fuse it, you make it, you know, you mix it and master it to up where it sounds modern, up to date. Of course, you get everyone on board and all together again. That's why I like it like that was the biggest record on Cardi's album. That's why this whole thing was massive. That's why he's even bigger doing the salsa sound than even when he was doing Latin trap.
But isn't Latin music like the #1 music in the world? Like as far as...
It absolutely is. Worldwide. You can go anywhere in the world and dance salsa. Anywhere.
So, but you don't think that there was any positivity that came from him being chosen to perform, like the message that he had at the end of the show?
What message?
The one that they put up in words?
Remind me of what they said again?
It was like about love, like, you know.
They like to use
love is stronger than hate, something like that.
the thing is, that was not a display of love. That was the display of opposition, you know, and they like to use that to create a psychological operation. But it's is complete. Like, for the first time, a friend of mine was like, I went out in public right after the Super Bowl. He's like, and I had a, you know, Puerto Rican flag on my hat. He said, for the first time, a white guy looked at me crazy. So it created more opposition, not unity. It created more dissension.
But you don't think that that meant something to Latinos to feel like, wow, we're being represented on a wide scale like this?
That's how you bamboozle Latinos.
So you don't think that there was positivity that came from that?
I mean, I will say the positivity among people, there could have been, yeah. I mean, okay, among Latinos, yeah, they're all loving on each other. You know what I mean? The thing is, they're really, it's a mask. It's not real. So we need to look at what is authentic, and rather than performative and wanting to just virtue signal and garner love and affection.
What about little kids watching it and seeing that you could, wow, there's somebody that looks like me that is performing on the biggest stage?
I think we need to stop filtering that ideology to our children, because that's how you get bamboozled. Because then they can fabricate any image so that it's relatable to you and bamboozle you through that way. And we rather need to teach our children about intuition, rather than what the person looks like on the outside. Feel their energy, read their character, look at who they are. And we need, as humans, we need to start learning to identify through our spirit rather than through this corporeal being in this vessel that really, you know, is not the true importance.
So you think that it caused more damage than good because of the opposition it created between different races, basically?
Yeah.
What about Kid Rock creating his own halftime show? Did you watch that?
That was on purpose. Polarization, polarity. They did that. It's like a whole movie. You got to have the good guy. You got to have the bad guy. It's opposition. You know what I mean? Or whoever perceives as the good guy or the bad guy. You know, it's up to the viewer. But that was done on purpose. For the first time, too. So we didn't have unity. We had a lot more dissension.
All right. I think during our last interview, you were about to leave to the Philippines. You were making a big change in your life. Now you recently came back to America. How was that experience for you?
Oh my God. It was my second time in the Philippines. I was there when I was 17 for 6 months. So I went back, and it was different this time, because I was like, I was living alone as a single woman. When I was there, when I was 17, I was under like my brother's godfathers, you know, I was like with a family and everything. So, but this time, you know, I got into some danger. I will tell people, as much, like, I love Filipino people. I love Filipino culture. I love Filipino food. I love Filipinos. I grew up in San Francisco in the Bay Area, so I grew up around mad Filipinos all my life. It's a dangerous place because of the poverty levels. It's you will get scammed if you go there as an American, because they can detect who is who. I almost got sex trafficked after a gig one day. Like, one of the other Latin singers brought some young girl that she had just met, and this young girl ended up she had been prostituting since she was 15, and she was working for, her pimp was a Jewish Canadian Turkish expat, and he basically used her to go and recruit people. So, like, last minute, long story short, I caught her in lies. Like, it was like 3 days of her lying to me. Then I started playing a game, and then, like, she ended up telling me, like, it was minutes before she was going to be taking me in a car I was supposed to be going to a Christian church to go sing worship music, right? Because I was like, oh, you know what? I haven't done that in a while. You know, that's how I grew up, but I was open to it. She's told me she was going to take me to a synagogue where I was going to be kidnapped by the Jewish Canadian Turkish expat pimp. So I even spoke to the guy the next day on the phone. I was like, I don't know what kind of fucking operation you're running out here. I said, but I will fucking hunt you. And then I had made some connections out there or whatever. So I called, friends in government and who had people in Interpol or whatever. So, like, I was made sure to protect my space. So that happened. On the positive side, I got into some music out there with some really great artists and people and musicians. I mean, Filipinos are masters of tone when it comes to using their voice. You know what I mean? And they do it without ego. And it's just it was a beautiful thing to learn from them, to be a part of them. Um, but like I said, everything has its negative side to it. So I just had to be a little bit more reserved and careful with people. I also did into the dance scene while I was out there. They dance a lot of salsa, bachata out there. So they're really good too. So it was like I had a really good time as far as that went. And then I ended up in a pageant. So, and this was the crazy thing too, because it's like, I'm not sure. I had a publicist while I was out there, and I'm not sure if I was being lied to or what happened. But so she was like, to get exposure, because pageants in the Philippines are like, they're super big. Like they get a lot of exposure and media out there. So she was like, like I'd like to have you join or whatever. And it was Miss Environment International. So I'm like, oh my God, this is exactly like up my alley. So she was like, pick a country, wherever you're from. I'm like, well, USA was already taken. So I'm like, I got to represent Peru since I'm part Peruvian. So my whole thing is I was introducing, because right now, they ended up actually taking like miles of the Amazon rainforest out, which the Amazon are the lungs of the earth. This is actually what provides a lot of the planet with the oxygen that we breathe. So that was, it's a big thing. You have people in government that have been paying off people over there to remove, and so they could replace it with highways. So my thing is, okay, let me introduce vortex-based math. Because I even found out too that Qatar, the country of Qatar, has implemented a math into their entire infrastructure in their country, where they're able to provide all of their citizens with a universal basic income, and where every citizen, if they don't want to work, they don't have to, and they live comfortably. So I'm like, this is exactly where I'm headed with. I've talked to you about vortex-based math before, right? So that was my presentation in the entire pageant, was vortex-based math, because that's a big problem. Vortex-based math will eliminate poverty, sickness, and disease, and Qatar is already doing it. So I'm like, we have the blueprint right here. I'm not crazy. I've been talking about this for years, and people are like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm like, I know what I'm talking about. So we got Qatar doing it. I'm talking to them about this, and I'm in the middle of the entire pageant. I'm realizing, really pretty girls, and some of them are really into the environment. Some of them are using it just as a front cover so they can come and just be a pageant girl. It is what it is. And one of our points of contact, and one of the, the people that was like helping organize it all in the Philippines, it was the Climate Change Commission. And during the week of the pageant, they were telling us they were starting to push this carbon footprint calculator. And what I know about this carbon footprint calculator is it's basically like, it's going to start, well, it's actually been put to a halt here in the US. And I think I put a stop to it in the Philippines. So I put a halt to it. Because I made news with it too. So it's basically policing every citizen on like, how many planes do you fly a year? How often do you drive? How much meat, chicken, beef do you eat during the week? Do you recycle? So basically like nitpicking every human. And this is kind of what leads to what China has, is the social credit score, and like, to where now you're monitoring every single human on little things. And this is, I saw this, and I'm like now immersed in all of this, and I'm like, this is a precursor to global slavery. You know what I mean? So now they're blaming all of us citizens who are subject to corporations, where we have to use the water bottles they provide for us. We have to do this. We have to, you know what I mean? We. So I'm like, I just kind of started blowing things up in the middle of the pageant, because I'm a little passionate, and I started like letting them know, like, well, this isn't right, blah, 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 blah. And then I also like was privy to information, because we were at a dinner one day, and one of the other people from the Climate Change Commission had just come from a meeting at the UN somewhere, I forgot which country. And they were talking about, they had a meeting about pushing this carbon footprint calculator. So we ended up having at the coronation, long story short, Oh my God, it's such a long story. Apple Diop from Black Eyed Peas performed. He is one of the first celebrities in the Philippines who was going to be pushing this agenda as well. So they're not only are they pushing the carbon footprint calculator, but the positive thing to get, to tug at people's heartstrings is like, oh, you have to plant this many trees. If you eat this much meat, then this is how many trees you have to plant, right? Now, my thing is that sounds like, oh, okay, you don't have to do my job as a human and go and plant all these trees. Well, I'm sorry. All of the trees that have been removed from the Amazon recently, there are not enough humans to replace those miles of trees on Earth. So it's like a psychological operation to guilt trip humans into now spending their energy in a different way. And so that now we can be monitored more, policed more, restricted more, more authoritarian control, totalitarian government, that kind of thing. So at the coronation, the entire week, the organizer of the pageant loved me. I was performing, I performed my songs, I performed all kinds of stuff. But the Climate Change Commission lady, whenever there's this thing about me sometimes, I know when there's someone really evil, I detect them and they detect me. So I was like on her radar the entire week, to the point where the organizer kept wanting me to perform. And every time he wanted me to perform and sing, she would try to stop me. And so they had the talent portion of the pageant, and I performed, I did my song or whatever. And they ended up at the coronation, they snubbed me the talent award. Like, let's just be real. I should have won the talent award. I didn't care about winning no pageant. I was just there to get exposure in the Philippines because my publicist wanted me to do this. And then I got excited because then I wanted to share my message. So in order for me to have spoken my Vortex-based message on that platform, I would have had to make the top 12, right? I didn't really care about making the top 12. I cared about being able to speak my message. But what I really cared about too was winning that talent award. You know what I mean? Because I should have won it. So they snubbed me the talent award. Of course, I wasn't going to win top 12. You know what I mean? So right after they snubbed me the talent award, I walked off stage and I put my stuff on. I walked back in the ballroom and I got in front of the media and I started screaming at the top of my lungs, "This is a precursor to global slavery." I said, "Look at what they did. They made us get the vaccine, all of this." And I was like, so it made news. And the media misunderstood. They thought that I was upset that I didn't get top 12, but I was really upset because I didn't get the talent award. They snubbed me the talent award. But it was crazy. But long story short, it was all meant to be for me to cause that ruckus and to alert the people in the Philippines about what was going on with that agenda. And it now has been put to a halt.
Wait, so how long after the situation with you almost getting trafficked that you moved back to the US?
So I almost got trafficked in I think it was May. Yeah, it was beginning of June. But I had my lease there. You know what I mean? So I had a year lease. And so my lease was up in January.
Of 2027? So you left early?
Yeah, I left. Yeah, I spent a year there. I didn't leave early. I finished my lease.
Oh, got you. Okay. Okay, so you actually stayed like a good amount of time even after then, but you were protected at that
I
part.
protected myself. Yeah. I just
Okay.
I didn't, I stayed in certain groups. I didn't go, anywhere that much.
Right. You've been through so much in your life, like so much fucked up stuff has happened to you or almost happened to you, has been close and stuff. What do you think is like this recurring thing that it's almost like your magnet for dangerous stuff to happen to you?
Yeah, it's I mean, I I would say, there was some brujeria done on me. And that was part of it. Part of me wanting me to be sex trafficked and taken away was a spell cast.
So there's no world where Tina is just paranoid and this is in her head that this stuff is happening and it's really not happening.
Is there another world where that happens? Like another dimension?
No. I mean, like reality, like realistically, this stuff is real that you're talking about. Because to the viewer, somebody's gonna be like, "Oh,
it sounds
she's
crazy. It sounds crazy." I mean, I can show you guys. I can pull up text messages with the fucking trafficker guy. You know what I mean? And show you my communication with him, and the girl. I made sure to save them. You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, because like to the viewer, they're like, "Oh, it's always some kind of crazy thing happening with her." Like, you know what I mean? Like, what the heck? Like,
you know. Do you want to see? Oh, she told me she had AIDS too. I just remembered. She said he gave her HIV. So this is what she said. She's like, right here, after I promise you I will resign and I will fix my life for the better. But till then, protect yourself. He knows, and I know you are from wealthy family and none of us wants your money, but he never wants that. And you're right, energy is priceless. I'll protect you from any too. I have been doing it for him for so long. So she's like, so I won't let anything happen to you. And I just still showed her love after that, Panda. Like, she was like basically telling me that she was going to get out of, being this prostitute and recruiter for him and all of that and change her life around. And I'm like, how do I still have compassion after all this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like why? Like the average person probably would be like, well, fuck you. You tried to screw me over, like,
Yep. Look, hold on. I'm going to show you where she says, look, she called me ate. Like in the Philippines, if you look up to like an older aunt or whatever, they call you ate. So she called me ate. She said she had never experienced genuine love like that in her life. I was like, oh my God, like it's
crazy. Wow.
Look, she said right here, thank you for saving me somehow. And I said he didn't know who he fucked with.
Wow. Well, we're definitely glad that you're safe and that you're okay. Are you happy to be back in America, or you want to go back?
I will say this, even with all the fighting of, with all of us here, there's just something about the spirit of the American people. And it's just beautiful. Even the fighting is beautiful. Like we are one. We are like, even with the fighting, we don't realize how connected we all are, So it's this bit of dissension and all of that. And I know I sound a little bit more like negative on social media, but really, if you sit with me like you're sitting with me right now, there's a lot of good and positive things coming. A lot. Things are about to get way better. And oh my God, too. Again, vortex-based math. There's a lot is happening. There's a whole financial shift that's going to be happening too with the QFS and everything. Like, so just get ready, stay in tune, be open up your mind, expand your mind to new things so that you can receive new information so that you know where to head. Because if your consciousness is not expanded and open to certain information, then you will literally be left behind. And it's your choice to not open your mind to receive new information so that you can live a better life. And we're talking about the coming down of the U.S. corporation and all of that. I don't want to say too many words on here, but like to where our enslavement, where as citizens, we are becoming sovereign citizens once again.
I feel like before you left, your energy was different than it is now. Your aura feels different. So how do you think that the experience in the Philippines changed you?
Oh my God, I'm gonna get all emotional. I had a lot of time to just sit with myself. Like with nobody. I spent most of the time alone, and just reflecting on, I sound negative a lot. I sound like I can be in this victim mentality a lot, but it was a lot of taking responsibility for my own life, for my own actions, for my reactions, for my perception, for my lack of taking control of my energetic field, of my auric field, my energetic space. And I realized like people are going to have ill intent all over the universe, in other dimensions and other planets. There's always going to be evil ensuing. There's always going to, but it's really just about me getting to this level of enough self-love and awareness for that's it. And that self-love in turn teaches you how to protect yourself. That self-love guides you on where to go, what choices to make. Because when you're not loving yourself, you're making poor decisions, So and really getting back to that place of finding me and loving myself. And I got my voice back like fully, you know? So, and then feeling the love of the Filipino people, the other side, the positive side, the positive people there that, imparted into my life, the people that brought me on their stages, the people that, really shared their lives. So I'm just grateful for that.
You got this new song called Past Life Lovers. The melody is fire. Your cadence when you're rapping is crazy. Talk to me about that song. How did you come up with it?
Well, Stephon asked me to write him a song. And I said, I was like, well, I can't just write you a song. I'm like, it has to already be written. So sure enough, I wrote it after, we had a falling out. But it came, and while, dating him too, because, I also get past life recollections. I started to get some past life stuff. It was really interesting, and it's all connected. It's like connected. It's like from New York to China to Manila. It's ridiculous. It's crazy.
So it's not a new song? It's an old song?
I wrote it in 2024 right after Stephon, but I just put it out right now.
Got you. Okay. I was really impressed, you know what I mean? Like, I know that you're a great artist, but like I felt like that really matched your sound. I don't know, like it was just like something different about it. It really stood out.
Thank you.
Now, on Threads, like you've said, you've gotten in trouble with certain stuff that you say, right? But it comes across like you hate men a little bit on Threads.
Yeah, I don't hate men. I love men. There has just been a collective, I'm not going to say every man is like this, but it's a collective thing where, I don't want to sound like a feminist because I'm not a feminist, I'm a humanist. But there's been an imbalance to where even the way men, even the best of best men have operated, where we women have been perceived as subordinate to men. And men just have to be honest about that and even if they're not fully conscious, they still operate that way. Like men like kind of look down on us like, oh, you guys are cute. You're, like a guy that I was dating one time, like I got on stage, I did my thing, I'm like powerful, you know what I mean? And when I got off stage, she was like, you're so cute. And I'm like, cute? I'm like, that wasn't cute. Like the fact that you call me cute makes like, it's just like it's an insult to me. You know what I mean? I just delivered power and you diminished my power to cute. So it's just lack of, and even men that I've dated that like, yeah, they might have loved me. They love my beauty. But then when I'm conversing with them and I'm speaking in authority as a woman, as a divine woman, I'm not heard, and I'm not respected. I'm just admired and looked at for my beauty and for being a woman because I'm useful to a man in a certain way. But there's more to us women than our sexuality. There's more to us women than our beauty. There's more to us women than just cooking and cleaning and doing all those things, which I love. I love to cook and I fucking love to clean. Like I love it. I love doing domestic stuff. But at the same time, I also love and coming out into the world and speaking a message to uplift people. And I probably won't have children, but I consider the children of the world my children. And what I do is empower and authority. It's not cute.
There will be applications in the description for her. She said she loves to clean and loves to cook.
I cook good too, though.
But I totally understand what you're saying, because you put on Threads, you said even the best of men still view women as subordinate, because it's a way of training that society has trained men to think women to be less than, right?
Yes.
You know, and I agree with you on that. I really do, actually. I think that it's important as men for us to check ourselves in that way. Like, if those thoughts come across, the best thing you can do is to put things back into perspective, right?
Yeah.
What I'm hearing from you when you're talking and you're saying that is just like, you want to be viewed as an equal more, like, respect what I have to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and not equal in like, I'm a man, I can go and lift and do what you do. I know my role. I know what I can do. But I also have a brain. And my brain operates at the level your brain does. And maybe even higher. Just playing.
Some definitely, I definitely, especially the ones in the comments on the internet. So I've seen you go back and forth with people on Threads like crazy. Like,
I know.
Wow.
I'm trying to stop.
Some of the stuff that you've said, it's pretty crazy. Like, yeah. But anyways, so you said that you've been studying the psychology of men lately, and after you know what you know, you said that you'll be living out the rest of your life as single and celibate.
Yeah.
Now, I know there's tons of people in the comments right now that are simping and crying, going, Tina, no.
I mean, I think it was a moment, you know what I mean? I think just in my life right now, I just want to sit and reflect. But I will say, okay, you know, there are dating coaches and psychologists and everything. And when you really delve into the psychology of dating, this is some schizophrenia. It's some mental illness. You know, actually, I'm not going to say schizophrenia, because schizophrenia is, I think, I won't talk about that, but I think schizophrenic people have a lot of bandwidth. They have a lot of consciousness. They just don't know how to organize their thoughts. But this is like, it's a lot of manipulation and deception. You know what I mean? Teaching a man how to manipulate a woman to gain love and affection, teaching a woman how to manipulate a man, make him chase. So, you know, and it's just a lot of dishonesty, lack of transparency. And I'm like, if people are trying to get to love, why are you playing this game? And my thing is, a lot of men, the men that have been bamboozled and have gotten played by women and like married and been done dirty by women, is because those men, the only way they can feel like they can love a woman is if they conquer that woman, right? So the woman played the chase me thing, right? They conquered. Now they feel like a man, right? It does something to their brain chemistry. Now I'm in love with this woman. I'm going to possess her and I'm going to keep her, right? The thing is, you played a dishonest game with that woman in order to get her. She played a dishonest game with you. And then now she ends up doing you dirty in the marriage. So, you know what I mean? It was not even based on real love and authenticity. It was based on psychological games. And that's what
a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, and that's the entire dating field right now. It's lower limbic system, lower consciousness. And so humans right now, I think we're about to come out of that. And we're about to experience, and we're also understanding there are different definitions of love. In the Greek, you have 4 different definitions of the word love. So eros is what, you know, that romantic thing you feel for someone. Eros is the quickest fading type of love. What remains when people remain in marriage for long term is a phileo, the friendship, storge, which is emotional, and then agape, which is unconditional love. But that eros is a bunch of, you know, it comes and it goes.
So you saying that you will never provide your energy to a man ever again, that was a moment in time that you felt that way. You don't feel that way.
Yeah, but this man has to be of higher consciousness, and we're not going to be playing no games. You know what I mean?
Okay. What about the part where you said, I will never tell another man I love him ever again. If I enter into a partnership, I will ask the man, do you love yourself? And he will ask me the same.
That was a moment.
That was a moment? Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to be chilling on Threads moving forward.
Now, Do you find that dating has been more difficult in this era because of, technology with social media and stuff like that compared to how it was back in the day?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was just a lot more simple back in the day. Like, you just got someone's phone number, you set up a time to meet up, and you met up. Now it's like it's just a lot of interaction before the meeting up. You know what I mean? A lot of like not real interaction. So it's like they're looking at your post, you're looking at their post. Now you're just perceiving stuff off of this, you know? So it's confusing.
What about even further back where it's like people met and they have marriages like for like 30 years and stuff like that? Like how, I mean, to a certain extent, like society standards obviously made that happen too, right? Where it was kind of like imbalance in power for men and women, where women kind of felt like they just had to be in something like that. Like if
Yeah.
you're talking like our grandparents,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, right? But at the same time, though, I feel like with everything online, from when you buy something, when you look at the reviews, when you look at just so many different alternative options and brands to something basic, like, it's just like, I just feel like having so much competition, having so much to see, it almost makes it more difficult.
It does. Absolutely. Yeah. But I'll tell you where it is better though, because you can catch liars easier.
Yeah,
Woohoo!
that's true.
Hey.
But I imagine like for men, it's like seeing so many women. It's like it's almost more like of a thirst trap for some men. Like they're just like more enticed by, oh, I can't settle on one. I just want to have more.
Yeah, I think that's changing though, Panda. I think it was that way. It's been that way for like the past decade, like heavy. Uh, but I think that's shifting because of the oversaturation of the thirst trap photos of the BBL, woman.
Yeah,
Like it's all going out. And
it's not even
men,
special anymore.
no, no. So
Yeah.
it's oversaturated, and at the same time, people are raising in consciousness and realizing now, men are also realizing too that guess what? Your business endeavors, your money is connected to a woman, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about in the past week? You said, men, we are not your play toys. Our bodies are not meant for your personal pleasure. When you enter a woman, you are connecting yourself to her nervous system. You have a responsibility to reciprocate the expensive feminine energy given. This is the energy that amplifies your business endeavors and manifestations.
Yes. Yes. I've told you this before. So even the Bible says this is code, right? And not to get religious, and I'm not religious. I grew up in Christianity, but there are even with the Bible being misinterpreted, mistranslated, it's a cultic, all whatever. You can still take code, right? So the Bible says, uh, when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. That means that you coming together, the Bible also says when two come together, they become one. So it's like a man taking his device, right? Plugging it into the socket on the wall and drawing energy from that socket on the wall, right? So what happens is when man and woman come together, now the feminine, we females actually provide energy to you men. Scientifically proven in the gym, when women are around, men work out harder. Scientifically proven when a beautiful woman smiles at a man, it gives him energy too. So imagine how much energy is being pumped into this man through intercourse, right? That's a lot of energy, especially if the woman is in alignment and highly abundant. Now she just fueled this man, right? And now the man goes and he is amplified and magnetized to go out and hunt and to in the physical bring that abundance. So now in the physical, he brings that abundance and he brings it back to the female, and they keep that cycle going. Hence the king and queen, the emperor and empress energy.
I actually strongly believe what you're saying because I've seen a lot of corny dudes that have girls that have made them feel like they were that guy. You know what I mean? Like they've really made them believe in themselves. And when you start to view yourself like that, you're able to accomplish way more. So I really do believe that. Now, you also said, I'm fully convinced any male who has romantic interest in me is an enemy wanting to siphon my energy.
I mean, it has been, kind of up until maybe not everyone, maybe I probably didn't give a good guy a chance. I'll be honest, and I've had to check myself. I'm like, why am I attracted to this toxicity? Like something is wrong with me too. So I've had to check myself. So I'm just going to be taking more responsibility for myself rather than blaming men all the time.
So proud of you. This interview, you taking accountability for things. You see that, guys? She actually has. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen this. It's been a while,
Really?
So no, but I'm just saying though, it's really great though to hear. You
try to change my life.
Yeah, it's great to hear you recognize a lot of that. All right, so in 2018, you filmed a Christian indie movie named JLO, right? How do you pronounce it?
JLO, yeah.
JLO, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. And you played a character named Sad Girl. Yo, you did your thing in this role, though. I'm not gonna lie. I was watching it. I was like, yo, she's killing this. Like you had the Chola personality on point.
I grew up around that.
Right. But yo, you was putting on strong on him too. Like, you was like really pursuing him. I was like, actor. Dang.
I had to do my role. I had to do my job.
How did you the scene where like you're in the back seat of the car sitting next to the girl that's his best friend that's in love with him, and like your whole aura and stuff, you're like, man, fuck this bitch. Like, you're just like, the way that you look, the look on your face, I was like, dang, she killing it. I was like, this is so believable right now. I'm like, what was your whole experience filming the movie?
Oh my God, it was incredible. 22 days on location in Northern California. Like we were up at like 5 a.m. every day, but I had so much fun. And like my castmates, we like bonded, and like like a few of us, and then the DP. So after set, we'd go and smoke weed and drink, and then they were like the people in charge, our producer and everyone, they're worried because we were like, just having too much fun. But it was a lot of fun. And even though it was a Christian indie film, obviously I have my Christian background, and even though I come down on Christianity a lot still, and there's a lot of toxic people in there, that group of people specifically brought healing to my life by showing me the love of God, and showing me that there are groups of Christians out there that are still, that can still show love rather than religion.
Right. And yeah, the cast was very diverse, I felt like, too.
Yeah. Those are some, one of the other guys, he needs to be doing a lot more too. So I'm like, yeah, it was good.
You had the song "The Devil" in the film, which won an award, right?
Yes, it won original score at a film festival.
That's crazy. How did you feel when that happened?
I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, you know what I mean? Like the fact that, and I always, like, I knew that song back in the day when I wrote it. I knew it was meant for film like this. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is not a song that people are going to vibe out to in their car. You know what I mean? I knew exactly how I wrote it, what I wrote it for. And, it evolved to that place.
And talking about evolution, one thing that you've said is that the song, it's the meaning has evolved over the years. Can you elaborate on what you meant by that?
All right. So I actually literally wrote it. So in the song I say, riding home in a taxi cab, I was kidnapped from my bed, dropped me off at the doorstep. No, my daddy ain't having this. It was years ago. Like, this is such a long story. Let me try to summarize. Where I was like about to leave home again. Because, it was always back and forth between me and my dad. Christianity, me wanting to go out and pursue a career in the music industry, and then my Christian pastor father who was like, you're of the devil if you want to go and sing worldly music. So it was like this one incident happened where I was gonna be on a record, like a Baby Bash record, because I was doing some reference vocals for people at Capitol Records. So I got a call from the producers. They were the juggernauts at the time, and they're like, yo, like the executives heard you on this record. They want you to finish it. It's gonna be a Baby Bash record. And long story short, I had to, in order for me to do that record, I was gonna have to leave home again. So I made plans or whatever. I didn't end up doing the record, but I was still gonna like leave home and move to New York for the first time. And then the night before I left, I was at a friend's house and something told me not to go. And and I woke up and I just grabbed my stuff and I went back home and I opened the door. My dad was sitting waiting for me in the living room. And he ended up telling me, he said, when you opened the door, he's like, I heard a small voice tell me, I'm sorry, Bobby. I didn't mean to make you mad. Here's your daughter back. So it was like, it's as if an energy has been after me my entire life, and even my father has, there's been some toxicity there too, with, how he conducted himself with me growing up. So it's like, uh, all of this energy really, it comes full circle. That's why I say the devil delivered me home, because no amount of negativity, even though I've almost been sex trafficked, I almost died, almost been murdered, like in the face of danger at time. Even the devil himself has brought me back to where I need to be and where I'm supposed to be, in a positive space, loving myself, at home.
Definitely. Now, this song, you've actually used to perform it a cappella in the streets of Austin for like South by Southwest, right?
Well, I did. I sang it like one time. We were like out. There was like a bunch of people, and they were like, in front of people's houses, but like mad people around. And I just started singing it, and they just all gathered around. I had footage too. It was fire. Like every time I've sung that song a cappella for people on the street or whatever, like it resonates with people. I will say it hasn't resonated much on stage, but when I sing it for people just in person, it resonates.
Well, I think that you use a very like your voice is very powerful, like the cadence of the tone that you're singing in, right?
Yeah.
The key that you're singing
Yeah,
in is
yeah. And it's got like a bluesy kind of feel, so it's in
right.
that like that soulful, like deep voice.
Definitely. All right. So you were talking about you've been highly critical of Christianity in the past, right? How have your feelings about the religion evolved over time now?
I mean, I am still highly critical of it. I grew up in Christianity. I grew up like like was raised in the pews. I know everything. I can quote scripture up the wazoo. I can quote more scripture than your pastor. You know what I mean? Like straight up. My grandfather and my father were theologians of the Bible, so I know how to break down scripture. I can take an English word and dissect it in the Greek and Hebrew languages, and come out with a different meaning. So it's like I know a lot. I know the infrastructure of religion. I know how corrupt it is. And what we have come to know is that, well, every church operates under a 501c3. So this is, tax exempt. That means that Christianity operates under a corporate structure. So it really, if you really look at it, it has nothing to do with spirituality. Christianity is just a sect of the Catholic Church, the Vatican. And you had, Martin Luther was one of the first that broke off from the Catholic Church and brought some new theology. And it's just been a revamping of theology within Christianity, which is why it's broken off into so many denominations. And I say Christianity is the most divided religion of them all, because it's like they don't agree with each other in their theology. But we know that theology was just, it's been used for control and misconstrued, mistranslated by people that have been in power and people that, have ruled America. So I tell people this, and I tell Christians, is I'm going to say it now. I'm going to start speaking out because it's already happening. If we all want to stop being enslaved and paying taxes, then churches need to come down. And people who want their little Sunday concerts and worship services and small groups, part of the reason why we all have to pay taxes and are being enslaved is because you want your little members only club erected still.
Do you feel that you've been unfair in certain regards about your criticism of Christianity?
It's possible. I'm going to leave a margin of error for myself and say that I could have. Yeah, I don't know any instance that comes to my mind right now, but I'll leave that open.
I know that you recently posted this video of children worshiping, and the person said they get PTSD because you're taught to catch the Holy Spirit, and it's performative to a certain extent. You actually commented that you grew up like this and you remember how uncomfortable it felt and
Yeah.
that your dad would criticize you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, what it's a lot of programming and indoctrination, and you're taught that as to worship God, and when you're in this space and the music is playing, that you're supposed to lift your hands, and if you're not connecting to God and if you're not feeling his presence, then you're not right with God, you're not saved, and then in turn really you're not going to heaven. So it's a lot of guilt tripping, a lot of shame put on you. And some people do it to the point where, and eventually I became that. My sister led worship. My sister was one of the most powerful worship leaders ever, actually. And really, she did it more from an authentic place rather than, she really was authentic in it. And now that I look back, my sister she has the ability to bring sound and frequency and healing. I mean, I do too, but she really does. So, but yeah, so it's just put on, and it's they're told to do it, rather than just, rather than a person taking a moment for themselves and wanting to appreciate and extend gratitude to God, the universe, whatever, however you deem higher power, we're all the interconnectedness of the universe. But in Christianity, it's, if you're not doing that like everyone else, then you're put down for it. But on the flip side, I will say, because even speaking in tongues, so when I was 12, I was at a service and I was prayed over, and I did start speaking in tongues. Like I wasn't even moving my mouth. But what I know now, it's the tongue of angels, right? That's what tongues is. It's light code. It's angelic language. So I really, and I can still speak it. I speak a language, angelic language from another planet and dimension.
Do you feel it's unfair to a certain extent to put your personal experience on others in a way? Like, I mean, obviously it's possible for people to have these kind of reactions, right? Like the worshiping, like for them to catch the Holy Spirit, like it's real.
You're asking if it's real?
No, I mean, it's real for people to have those reactions,
Yeah,
and not be performative.
I'll tell you why it's real, because you can entrain your brain waves yourself. You can literally brainwash yourself. So if you are immersed in that frequency and wavelength, you can create that reality and feel it, and it feels real.
But you yourself, you don't believe that it's an actual real thing?
I the well, okay, now we're getting into quantum physics, and we're getting a little science and weird, like, it's very real. Whatever someone is perceiving and creating is real, which is why schizophrenic people, they're perceiving things in other realms and a lot of things at once. They just don't know how to organize their thoughts and classify them, and then and ground and center themselves.
Now, earlier we had spoke about like how you've been trying to adjust your approach for a lot of things. Do you think that when you address religion and Christianity specifically, a lot of times it comes across as hatred and it's counterproductive?
Yeah, because of my tone and the way I deliver it, absolutely.
So how do you feel you're gonna try moving forward to approach it differently?
Well, right now, less words until I can use better words.
Okay. I mean, for something that is like so controversial, right? Religion is one of those things, politics is one of those things. What drives you to want to talk about something like this?
The liberation of all of us citizens of Earth. Like, I was sent here to do this. That's why. That's why I have a desire. It's in me. Like, this is my purpose. I can't run from it. It's all connected.
Got you. Okay. What are your thoughts on somebody like Pastor Perry Stone?
I don't even know who Pastor Perry Stone is.
You posted the video of him
Oh,
talking
Tyler
about the
Perry?
no,
Oh,
talking about the aliens.
oh, that's his name? I didn't even know his name.
Yeah.
What was he saying again? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Remind me.
He was talking about how like their there are pastors that are meeting with people in the government that are talking about the
Oh,
aliens and stuff.
Yeah, so word is that Trump called in everybody, because alien disclosure is going to be debunking Christianity. But this now affects the corporate structure of the country. This is huge. This is major.
Well, can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
When other beings come to Earth, it's basically going to debunk every Christians thinking that Jesus died on the cross for their sins. It's going to debunk that theology, and that belief has erected Christianity for the longest time. These Christians go to church believing that Jesus died on the cross for their sins.
Okay, now in the past, the Bible, or maybe not the Bible itself, but religion has evolved in different ways to become more accepting, whether that's homosexuality or just different things, right?
Well, and guess what? Christianity didn't start accepting homosexuality until the Pope declared it okay. So that, I'm like, Christians, you don't even realize that the Pope is your daddy. So they didn't start accepting it until the Pope said it was okay.
Do you foresee then that there will be some kind of narrative change or some kind of adjustment to be like including of other life forms from other things so that the belief in religion can still exist?
You know what? Yeah, there's going to have to be a more seamless interweaving of it rather than coming out and shocking, and because a lot of people, it's a lot. I've realized too, I can't be like spitting my knowledge at everyone. It's like I'm messing with their reality. It's very delicate information. I've realized that's why I'm trying to balance myself better. But yeah, it's going to have to happen a little bit more seamlessly, which is why beings like the Nordics and Pleiadians and that like more humanoid beings will be introduced first.
Because in that video of Perry Stone, he's talking about like pastors are going to be talking with the government about aliens and reptilian creatures and things like that. So, I mean, but he's had a lot of controversial claims in the past where he's also said that like he had prophecies of Bush's election, 9/11, Osama's death, like these different stuff.
I don't even know who this guy is, but I just posted him. It was a bunch of different pastors that were posting it. And then I just posted his content.
Yeah, he's a very controversial figure because he was in leadership before and he was asked to step down as well because there were sexual misconduct claims against him.
Of course. I will say most pastors are doing that.
I don't know. Can you really say most though? Most is maybe a lot.
Most. I will say most. I'll tell you why. I grew up with my father being a pastor. I used to tell people when I was a teenager, and like my little friends, I said, "You want pussy? Go be a pastor instead of being a rapper. Pastors get more pussy than rappers." Facts.
Whoa, wait a minute. So you're making claims about your dad or no?
Oh, my dad was fucking all the bitches in our church.
What?
Hell yeah, he was. That's why he got his minister's license revoked. He was having an 8-year affair with a woman who was like a sister to me. Yeah.
Wait, you're not talking underage, right? You're just talking about like.
No, not underage.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So how do people, did you ever have that conversation with your dad? Like, how did he justify that in his mind that this was okay?
Oh, our entire family has been having this conversation for like the past decade.
So how did he find it to justify it in his mind that it was okay to not only cheat on his wife or betray his family?
He can't justify it. He just had to own his shit and then start to just, realize who he is.
But like during that time, he was doing it over a span of a lot of years, right? So like, how did he justify it during that time?
Good question.
I guess you can convince yourself of anything, right?
Anyone can. Yep. Yep. Oh, or my wife is not paying attention to me. My wife is not giving me love, so I have to go over here, make anything up.
That's crazy. Wow. Did you ever have that conversation with your mom about how she felt about that?
Well, yeah, we've had in-depth conversations. My family, we're very, very transparent and open with each other. So yeah, this is kind of like has overlapped into my love life, this whole ideology, you know what I mean? And seeing how my parents' relationship and seeing how this is played out and seeing my father being a womanizer as a minister, you know, and having to reconcile all of this.
Yeah, because like what kind of impact can that have on you if you're looking at, obviously, what child doesn't want to view their parent as their hero, right? And
Exactly.
obviously, and also typically your mom or your dad is the one that teaches you about love growing up,
Yeah.
and how to have a relationship and stuff like that. They set that example. So you're seeing that. And then not only that, he's supposed to be a hero of the community because he's the minister.
And he was a hero of the community.
Right. So you're seeing so many layers of this being kind of like destroyed in front of your eyes. So this is something you're still struggling with till this day.
I would say I'm not struggling anymore.
But it impacts you to a certain level, right?
It has impacted me, absolutely. But now understanding that it's like the way men have been operating as a collective issue. You know what I mean? Of course, not to take away from us women and us allowing men to run amok and our part too. But it's just been, I now see it as a collective thing and not just like, oh, this was just my father and it's just respected to me. It's ruining my life. It's like, but now I can see we're all hurting as a whole. So now let's all heal as a whole.
Right. So when you were younger, it was more kind of like restricted to how it impacted you. But now that you've gotten older, you've been able to see it from a wider perspective. And that's helped you find some healing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, even just in the past decade, yeah, it was affecting me a lot still. But I'm on like at that threshold of coming out of all of that and having a lot of understanding, a lot of compassion to where I can now speak about these things in a clear way where I'm not insulting men, I'm not insulting women, I'm not and doing these things anymore. Like where I'm in a healed state and I can look at it and just like break down the psychology of it all, you know?
You going to the Philippines, your dad lives in the Philippines, right? Were you able to improve that relationship?
I tried to improve it, but it's a little difficult with my father because he still chooses to do some of the things that he does. You know what I mean? So then at that point, I just have to step away and protect my energy.
Got you. Now, with you saying that, you're finding healing and you're improving your perspective of love and of men and stuff like that, how do you think that the healing is going to improve your perspective of religion and Christianity, if it will?
Well, in my healed state, it's the Christianity, that religion, that structure is corrupt. But the people, rather than coming against the people, I'm understanding there are a lot of great people, good-hearted people in Christianity, people of the Spirit of God that are not there for the religion. You know what I mean? So rather than I have to remove I have to be careful about my language about how I'm talking about them because they're so some of them are connected to that corporate structure, you know what I mean? So I don't want them to as I'm coming against the religion, I don't want to think that I'm coming against them and their spirit and the Spirit of God that dwells within them.
Got you. Got you. What do you say to the people that believe what we see from you on social media is a persona that has been engineered after the likes of Kid Buu, Jaguar Wright, and many others? Do you genuinely believe these things that you're saying, or are they done for attention?
Oh, this is authentic. Authentic as fuck. There is no engineering. This is just literally me, you know?
So there's no desire, like, I'm trying to go viral, I'm trying to get as much eyes on me for this?
At this point, I do, because it's now my business, so I know how to work the algorithm a little bit, but I won't compromise my authenticity just for that. If it fits in, and it just a lot
So
of
there is
times things
strategy.
tend to fit. Now there is. It didn't start off like that, but I learned as I went along. When I was just spewing at first, right? And I started going viral on TikTok, and then as my virality started continuing, I now developed a strategy because I can see it.
Got you. Okay. What do you think is the biggest misconception that people have about you then?
Um, that I'm angry.
Are you not angry? No?
I'm the happiest person on the planet. I came out of the womb laughing. Like, I I have so much electricity. When I was a kid, I used to, like, do this thing with my hands because I would be so excited about nothing that I didn't know what to do with myself, and I'm still like that. Like, I if you spend a day with me, you will leave feeling like you just, like you're like, I just immersed you in Disney World, you know what I mean? Or whatever, whatever you like, because that's just how I am, you know what I mean? I'm fun, I'll entertain, I'll dance and sing right there in the restaurant, and, like, I don't give a fuck, you know what I mean? I'll say the craziest shit, I'm funny. Like, and, but, if I'm comfortable around you. But, yeah, people don't see the fullness of who I am. They don't see my silly side, they don't see how they just see me coming on here and talking. That's it.
Any plans to show more of that side of you?
Yeah, I think I've tried to a little bit, you know? I've put some stuff out there. It's maybe not enough, so maybe I gotta do it a little bit more, and try to figure that out, create a new strategy. But I will say working with different brands, helps me to kinda, be a little bit more myself, and without, without all the other information.
I think our interviews have humanized you a little bit more.
Yes, and that's why I like talking to you too, because I have someone to go back and forth with, you know what I mean? Now I got to break down Christianity, and you ask me questions, and I can, people can hear a little bit more of what I'm talking about rather than shock value topic points.
Right. So back to you electrifying people, right? Again, applications will be in the description. Okay, you want your business to go to 10 million. She's the right one.
I will say my energy does amplify, and I know it does. I've seen it. I've seen it amplify a man, and I'm like, that's my energy.
Why have you never gone into like reality TV?
I almost did. I almost got on a reality show, like a dating reality show for MTV, but something happened. Like they, they had this like psychological evaluation that was like 300 something questions long, and they were asking weird questions like, do you hear voices, like like asking about demonic activity. I got so weirded out taking that test that I didn't answer correctly, right? I got back to New York, and the producer called me, and he's like, listen, he's like, I'm not allowed to tell you this. He's like, you made the show. He's like, but your psych evaluation, the computer, it came back as inconclusive. He's like, we're going to send it back, take it again and send it back to us. They never ended up sending the second psych eval. And then like years ago, I had a couple meetings for Love and Hip Hop, but
Oh
I'm
my
glad that
God.
I
You on
know.
Love and Hip Hop? Wow, that would be insane.
Yeah, I thank God though, because I honestly would not like that stain on my image.
I mean, it's helped a lot of people's careers. I mean, but yeah, then you would be more in the conversations with the person you don't like, Cardi B.
Yeah, yeah. It's just really low value entertainment,
That's true though. That's true. But it so to the people that think that you just want viral clips or just want to be known off of clout, like if you really wanted to, you could really be successful in reality TV. I feel like you really could do it if you wanted
Well,
to.
people don't know that I got a callback for the role of Anita in Spielberg's West Side Story. So I'm an actor. I've been acting since I was 5. I've been singing, dancing, and acting since when I moved to New York, I moved there to pursue Broadway. The thing is, I get in front of casting directors, I audition terribly. I'm a fantastic performer, but when I go to audition, Yeah, I'm terrible. But that's why I got the call back for Anita, because it was a video audition. I didn't have to go sit in front of casting directors.
What is it about that throws you off?
The energy. I haven't known how to center and harness and now I do, after all going through all of this and all this turmoil. Now I can sit in front of whack people and still, be able to do what I have to do. I said whack people.
All right, yes, because you recently did say like you've been singing, acting, dancing on stages since you were 4 years old. Is your career where you thought it would be at this stage in your life?
Absolutely not. I thought I was going to be big by now. Well, and really, it's not that. Not that I thought I was going to be big. A lot of people projected it onto me. So I just grew up singing and acting and dancing and all of that. And people, like at 12 years old, people would like joke. They're like, "Can I have your autograph?" They nicknamed me Hollywood or whatever. And I just love doing what I love to do. Then I moved to New York. And I wanted to go to school to study theater, but then my dad forced me into real estate instead of allowing me to go to study theater. So I wasn't even prepared to audition properly. So by the time I got to New York, that audition room, it was just way too intimidating for me. And then I just ended up in salsa after that, because I was dancing salsa, and then they saw me dancing, and then they saw that I could sing. And then I just took a turn into Latin music, which I'm very grateful for. It was meant to be,
Was that difficult for you though, to be not where you thought that you would be?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But also like feeling that you had to live up to this image that people created of you.
Yeah. At some point I had to realize, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, I never really wanted fame. I was like, I would have been happy being in an ensemble on Broadway. But I remember even one kid was like, "Tina, you better get famous. Don't let me down." And so people have always said this stuff to me, like, why aren't you famous already? Why aren't you famous? Like, that was one line I always heard. Why aren't you famous? And I'm like, that made me feel worse. Like, am I not, I have to be famous. My talent is only validated with fame,
Mm,
you know?
right. So one thing that you also spoke about was beauty privilege. Being beautiful and talented is actually not a flex. You just become shinier prey for men and a target of envy for women. It affects one's ability to get a job, perform well, and people will even try to sabotage you for no reason.
Yep. Yo, even working at a restaurant, when I used to wait tables back in the day, like, I used to have problems with my managers. I would show up just like looking like I do, performing like I do, and they don't like it. If you perform well and you're beautiful, oh no. Now, having talent and being a 5 is great. That's a great pocket to be in. Amazing talent and being a 5, but like being beautiful and being really talented too, it makes people crazy.
What about just being beautiful? Like okay, we see on social media all the time, there's tons of people that are beautiful or whatever, but like they're not very smart. They probably don't really have that much
Yeah,
talent.
that's an easier place to be in, you know, when you don't have anything to share from your mind, and there is lack of talent. It's an easier space because those women actually utilize their beauty like very well. They capitalize off of it. Someone like me, I'm like, I want to be respected for my performance. I don't use my beauty to get in the door and do this. Like, I've actually done the opposite. I haven't played my cards very well because I'm true to my authenticity. You
Right.
know?
I want to make sure we clarify that, because somebody might watch this and be like, "Oh, you complaining about being pretty?" No, that's not just what you're complaining about. That's not what you're doing. You're talking about like it's harder if you're actually smart and you look good. It's like harder for you to be taken serious. There's some barriers to it.
And now that it's not that people don't take us seriously, is they take us too seriously and we're too much of a threat. That's the truth.
Okay. Got you.
It's a lot of power. Beauty and brains is a lot of power.
Right, right. We've spoken about very controversial things in many interviews. Do you have any regrets about anything that you've said in the past?
To you?
Yeah, in our interviews. Do you have any like regrets?
Probably. I don't remember. There's so much, but probably, yeah.
Probably. All right. Well, if you guys were offended,
I'm sorry.
Or you might be like, well, good. I don't know. Depends on what
Oh, well,
it was.
it does depend, actually. Yeah, it does depend. It's all love at the end of the day, though. Really, it is all love at the end of the day. Watch. We're in the age of Aquarius. We're about to be in the thick of it even more. It's gonna be good.
All right, this is my last question, okay? What are your true feelings about the use of AI in today's society and music and content creation?
I am with it.
So you're okay with like putting something into an app and having it write the song for you, or like?
Now, I say this. Every artist is different. Spin it your way, right? AI is consciousness, right? It is consciousness. Um, it is tapping into godlike consciousness. And if we understand this, you can work with it. And artistry is going to be perceived a little bit differently. And everybody is a different artist, right? Not every singer is the same. Not every rapper is the same. Some singers have a little bit more expertise in the production, rather than maybe the lyrics. One artist might be more of a lyricist than having, knowing to come up with sonically. So if we understand that we're all different in that way, and that we can now have an AI assistant and really it's the judge should be the finished product. Does this resonate with you? And how did you utilize AI? You know what I mean?
I mean, because the criticism is coming from, shouldn't you focus on being a better songwriter or improving your skill set rather than learning how to just write a good prompt? That's what people are afraid of, that this is taking away from the art.
If that's your mindset, sure. If you're in the frame of mind where you're delivering a message and you want it to sound a certain way, and you know how to connect with AI, and you resonate with AI, then by all means. But if you want to bask in your your skills, and you want to, feel yourself, and you want to, be arrogant, and not that it's arrogant, but if you want to feel good that you wrote this, and this is my skill, like, for me, it's always the message, anyone can sound anything that sounds cool and cute and everything, and hubba 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 beep 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 beep. But really, for me, it's about, and that's what art is anyway. It's relaying a message. So how are you going to relay that message? What are you saying? I would rather listen to a strong message than a cool sounding song that's saying nothing. That, to me, that's not artistry. That's just, okay, cool.
Are you already using AI in your music, or do you foresee yourself using it in the future?
I do foresee myself using it. I haven't been delving Past Life Lovers. That was that was all me. But yeah, especially to produce faster, for sure. And so I'm probably gonna be making. I'll probably be having AI assist me in making my album so that I can get it out fast.
Are we talking like Suno, 11 Labs? Like, what are we talking like that you're?
I don't know what's the best one.
Suno is the most well-known one, but there's some controversy over how they used music to train the models before they got the approval and stuff like. That's the biggest argument in AI right now. Is like, what are you using to train the model, right? Is it approved? Because obviously, if you're using music from other artists and they're not getting paid from it, and you're taking like bits of their sound or their influence.
What the thing is, like, artists don't own chord progressions and notes and things like that. Music is music,
But from a stylistic standpoint, like if somebody is like known to be rapping like this or singing in this style, and then, that was used to train the AI model, and you write.
Everything has been done before, though. Every singer was inspired by another singer. Every rapper was inspired by another rapper. It all came from the same place.
Right, but I understand that. But some
nobody owns music. Nobody. That's why I think making a business out of it was the worst thing ever.
But look at remember what's his name? Pharrell and oh man, what's his name? That one white singer that sings R&B. They got sued by Marvin Gaye. Gaye's
Jack Harlow.
No.
Oh no. Sued by Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye's
dead.
estate, I believe. Wait.
Oh. So why did I say Jack? Oh no, because Jack Harlow was like, he did the wigga shit recently.
On the song, I think it was the Blurred Line song, right? They got sued by Marvin Gaye's estate. Robin Thicke, there you go. Robin Thicke and Pharrell Williams. They got, for the song Blurred Lines, there was a lawsuit from Marvin Gaye's estate, how they kind of like were really influenced by the song Got to Give It Up by Marvin Gaye.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of like in that kind of vein, I believe. It's I don't know. I mean,
this is the thing
it's
is
an interesting conversation for sure.
Nobody should own music. Nobody.
So you don't believe that artists should have copyrights over their music?
The entire production, yes. But now we're talking about chord progressions, notes, pieces of music. No. Because you know how many songs that there sound alike, and like there are only so many notes there's that you can play with. You know what I mean? Which is why we're all going back to older music now, because there's like, what else can we do with it? The greatest stuff in music has already been done. So now we're just kind of revamping it.
So you're talking stylistically, you shouldn't be able to copyright like a style.
Yeah, I guess now we're getting to intricate things. What would define one's style? Maybe, I don't know. That's tough. Maybe like certain electronic sounds, but then I don't know.
Okay.
It's tough.
How do you feel about completely AI artists? Like, for example, like Timbaland, right? He's received a lot of flack where it's like, you got all these artists that exist out here that you could be working with. Why did you choose to create an AI artist?
Money, honey.
I know, but how do you feel about that? Are you cool with that?
I'm like, hey, everyone's going to do whatever they want with technology. We can't stop them. I think I do know someone that has created a full AI artist as himself. And this person was kind of jealous of me because of my abilities. And they tried to get in the studio. And when they got in the studio, they couldn't even open their mouth in the studio. So now they created an entire AI artist to be this music god and to take over the bachata world. And, you know, but coming from that frame of mind, I'm like, oh, pobrecito, you can't do it in the physical, so you got to do it in the fucking digital.
Right, but I'm talking to like, come on, like somebody like Timbaland, he has like people lining up that would love to work with him, right? There's so many artists that are trying to make it. Like, there's plenty of people that he could choose.
The thing is, he's probably getting paid by somebody to really, push this too at the same time. And, it's the future. He's going with the future. So I don't mind competing with AI artists. I have no problem with that. They're no threat to me. I want to perform on a stage in the metaverse, and I'll be right there with them at some point.
But in the end, can we say that we still respect people that actually learn how to do something versus how to write a prompt more?
It's respectable. Yes, it's respectable. Yeah, but it's not a I don't think it should make one feel like well, it's respectable. But at the same time, we're in the future. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to move more toward the future rather than being in this space. Cause even me thinking like, I write, Cardi B doesn't, you know what I mean? Because you know what I mean? Although she sold her soul, but besides that point, you know what I mean? If I'm trying to get to a destination a little bit faster right now, then, Am I going to sit here and wanting to hold on to my respect, or what's the word that I want to use? Like, it's like this, let me like break down a scenario. So like, I know a lot of actors that are finally right now, just in 2026, finally starting to create content where they used to be in the frame of mind where like, oh, I'm too good. I'm an actor. I do real movies. I do real shows, and I'm never going to put out content. And now that Hollywood has gone to shit and they don't got enough more work anymore, now they are relegated and forced to, and they have to now humble themselves. And that they're now coming in a humble state where I used to just be really, you know, against this, and now I'm I had to clear out some stuff, and now I'm gonna. So that you understand what I'm saying?
Right. I get what you're saying. Absolutely. And a lot of rappers are now just being podcasters.
Yeah. And you know what? I guess we're all moving and shifting and doing all kinds of stuff,
right. For sure.
So let's just evolve.
All right, Tina, I just want to thank you so much for your time. It's great to see you're doing so well. I'm glad we were able to reunite. Is there anything else you want to say to the people before we go ahead and wrap it up?
Get ready for UFOs, UAPs, extraterrestrial life forms, higher consciousness. Your bandwidth is about to expand, so get ready. It's gonna be a little scary for some people, but don't be scared. Reach out to some of us. Reach out to people that have knowledge. A lot of us call ourselves starseeds. We've been, we've already been in the wave, and we're here to guide. And I know for sure a lot of people are gonna need some guidance. So we're here for all you, and it's all love. And if I've ever offended you, I'm so sorry. I apologize. It is literally all love. I'm just trying to spread some truth out here. But hey, we're all creating our realities. So peace and love.